It was a beautiful day. The kind of day that makes you feel alive, with the sky a perfect shade of blue and the air crisp and invigorating. Nature seemed to be at its finest, offering a serene and picturesque backdrop to our journey. The sun glinted off the snow-capped Andes mountains, casting a dazzling array of light that danced across the peaks. The mountains stood tall and majestic, a testament to the raw beauty and power of nature. It was a sight that filled us with awe and wonder. We were flying high in the clear blue sky, our spirits soaring with the plane. The view from the window was breathtaking, with the vast expanse of the Andes stretching out below us. It felt like we were on top of the world, invincible and free. Then, everything changed. A terrible shudder ripped through the plane, jolting us from our reverie. The once calm and peaceful atmosphere was replaced with chaos and fear. The plane shook violently, and the sound of metal groaning filled the cabin. Fear gripped us all, our hearts pounding in our chests. It was October 13, 1972, and our plane carrying my rugby team and our families had crashed in the remote Andes Mountains. The impact was deafening, a cacophony of noise that seemed to come from all directions. The world spun violently and my vision blurred as the force of the crash threw us around like rag dolls. I lost consciousness, the world fading to black. The last thing I remember was the sound of screams and the feeling of being utterly helpless. When I awoke, the scene was chaotic. The fuselage was shattered, twisted metal and debris scattered everywhere. The once pristine interior of the plane was now a scene of devastation and destruction. Snow poured in through gaping holes in the wreckage, a stark contrast to the warmth and comfort we had felt just moments before. People were screaming, their voices filled with terror and pain. Some were silent, their faces pale and expressionless, lost in shock. I could barely comprehend what had happened. My mind was a whirlwind of confusion and fear. The reality of our situation slowly began to sink in, and I realized that we were stranded in one of the most inhospitable places on Earth. The beautiful day that had started with such promise had turned into a nightmare, and our world had been turned upside down. The silence after the crash was eerie. It was as if the world had paused, holding its breath in the wake of the disaster. The once bustling airplane, filled with the hum of engines and the chatter of passengers, was now a twisted, silent monument to the tragedy that had just unfolded. The only sounds were the moans of the injured and the howling wind. The wind seemed to carry with it the whispers of those who had perished, a haunting reminder of the lives lost. The injured lay scattered across the snow, their cries for help blending with the relentless gusts that swept across the mountain. The crash had claimed many lives. Bodies lay motionless, partially covered by the falling snow, their forms slowly becoming part of the frozen landscape. Each life lost was a story unfinished, a future unfulfilled. The weight of the tragedy pressed down on us, a heavy burden that seemed almost too much to bear. We huddled together in the wreckage, dazed and terrified. The cold was relentless, seeping into our bones and sapping our strength. We clung to each other for warmth, our breaths visible in the frigid air. The wreckage provided little shelter, but it was all we had. We were united by our shared ordeal, each of us struggling to comprehend the enormity of what had happened. We were stranded on a mountain, miles from civilization, with no way to call for help. The vast expanse of snow stretched out in every direction, a desolate and unforgiving landscape. The realization of our isolation was a crushing blow. We were cut off from the world, left to fend for ourselves in the harshest of conditions. Our hope lay in the radio. It was our only link to the outside world, our only chance of being rescued. The old equipment was battered and unreliable, but it was all we had. We gathered around it, our hopes pinned on the faint possibility of making contact. We desperately tried to fix it, praying for a signal, but it was hopeless. We were completely alone. Each failed attempt was a blow to our morale, a reminder of our dire situation. The radio remained silent, a cruel mockery of our efforts. We were left with nothing but our determination to survive. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the snow, the temperature dropped even further. The beauty of the sunset was lost on us, overshadowed by the grim reality of our situation. The fading light signaled the approach of another freezing night, a night we were unsure we would survive. A chilling realization dawned on us. We were facing a fight for survival. The odds were stacked against us, but we had no choice but to persevere. We began to prepare for the long night ahead, gathering what little resources we had and steeling ourselves for the challenges to come. Our survival depended on our ability to stay strong, to support each other, and to never give up hope. We faced a daunting task. Food and water were scarce. The freezing temperatures threatened to consume us. Yet we found strength in our shared will to live. We rationed our meager food supply. We melted snow for drinking water. We used the plane's insulation for warmth. Every day was a struggle against the elements and our own despair. We told stories, sang songs, and clung to memories of our loved ones. It was this shared hope, this determination to see our families again, that kept us going. As days turned into weeks, our situation grew desperate. Our food supply dwindled to nothing. We were starving. Death became a constant companion. It was then that we faced an unimaginable choice: to live or die. To survive meant consuming the bodies of our friends and teammates who had perished in the crash. It was a decision that tore at our souls, but it was a decision born of necessity, a testament to our will to survive. We made a pact to honor the memory of those we lost by fighting to live. Just when our spirits were at their lowest, disaster struck again. A massive avalanche roared down the mountain, engulfing our makeshift shelter in the wreckage. We were buried alive in a tomb of snow and ice. Terror gripped us. The hours that followed were a blur of confusion and fear. We clawed at the snow, desperate for air. Some of us did not survive the ordeal. Our numbers dwindled. The loss of life was a heavy blow. It seemed that the mountain was determined to swallow us whole. After the avalanche, hope seemed like a distant memory. We knew that if we stayed, we would die. It was then that a decision was made. We would send a group to find help. Roberto Canessa and I volunteered for the perilous journey. We set out into the unforgiving wilderness, armed with little more than determination and a glimmer of hope. For days we climbed treacherous slopes and battled exhaustion. We knew that the lives of our friends rested on our shoulders. After 10 grueling days, we stumbled upon a shepherd. He was our first contact with the outside world. Relief washed over us like a tidal wave. We had done it. We had survived. Helicopters arrived soon after, their arrival a symphony of hope cutting through the silence of the mountains. As we were lifted from the snow into the bright sunlight, it felt like being reborn. We had stared death in the face and emerged victorious. Our story, the story of Flight 571, resonated around the world. It became a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, a beacon of hope in the face of unimaginable adversity. Books were written and movies were made, sharing our story with millions. Yet the greatest legacy lies not in the fame, but in the lessons learned. The experience taught us the value of courage, the importance of unity, and the extraordinary strength that resides within us all. The Andes Mountains hold a profound silence. This silence is not just the absence of sound, but a deep, resonant quiet that speaks volumes. It is a silence that whispers of loss and resilience, of despair and hope. The wind that sweeps through these ancient peaks carries with it stories of those who have faced unimaginable challenges. Our survival was a miracle, a beacon of light in the darkest of times. We were stranded, isolated, and yet we found strength within ourselves and each other. A testament to the power of the human spirit. We faced our fears, embraced our courage, and held on to hope when it seemed like there was none left. In the face of adversity, we discovered the true depth of our resilience, and refused to give up. Every step we took, every decision we made, was driven by an unyielding will to survive. We learned to rely on each other, to find strength in unity. The story of Flight 571 is not just a tale of survival, but a testament to the power of hope, the strength of unity, and the enduring spirit that resides within us all. It is a story that reminds us of the incredible capacity for human beings to endure and overcome, but a testament to the power of hope, the strength of unity, and the enduring spirit that resides within us all. In those harsh conditions, we found a way to come together, to support one another, and to keep moving forward, and the enduring spirit that resides within us all. The interviews with survivors reveal the depth of their experiences, the lessons they learned, and the unbreakable bonds they formed. Their stories inspire us to believe in the power of the human spirit. We must remember that even in the darkest of times, even when the night seems endless and the cold unbearable, there is always a glimmer of hope. That hope is what kept us going, what pushed us to keep fighting. Even when all seems lost, even when the odds are stacked against us, the human spirit can overcome. It is in these moments of despair that we find our true strength, our true character. The human spirit can overcome. The joy of our rescue, the relief of being reunited with our loved ones, is a testament to the power of perseverance and the unbreakable bonds of humanity. Our story is a reminder that no matter how dire the circumstances, we have the capacity to endure, to hope, and to triumph.